We're live streaming. Hello, everybody. We are being live. We're on Facebook. I am so excited to bring us Coaches with Coffee today. It's my fault we're late. I had too much to say. But y'all, this is here for posterity. We can have it forever and ever. So, Coaches with Coffee. Julie, how are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. It definitely is starting to feel colder here, like we're in the high 40s. And I'm
Uh-huh. And
like,
your post about
well,
the big dark.
the big dark, exactly. And I'm like, okay, well, I figured it would get to be in the 40s in Seattle, but I figured that would be like maybe in December or January. So I'm like, well, how cold is it going to get in December and
It
January? So
snows
I'll
there.
find,
It
I
snows.
know, I'll find out and I'll
Yeah.
let y'all know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, y'all, today we're talking all about, we're actually going to do a preseason assessment a little bit. And I wanted to break down how when you get on a call, like any of you are curious about coaching with us, we take you through these same questions. So I was going to have Julie take me through the questions and give you some ideas, answers, let you know what's going on with me in my preseason. Um, so, Julie, are you ready to ask me on our preseason assessment? Our
Yeah.
diagnostic, if you will?
It's really fun because we end up asking questions about things that people don't typically think about, I don't think very often. And
Yeah.
um, regardless of answers or anything, it's really good that they have an opportunity to actually start thinking about nutrition, thinking about recovery. So in that way, it's always a wonderful tool for us as well as for them.
I
So
love that.
on a
Really fast before we jump
yeah.
in, I wanted to butt in really fast and say, if you're only here for a very short time, we have again Black Friday is coming next week. So on Monday, we're going to talk all about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We have a ton of discounts for you and deals. So if you want to get on the wait list, get on the wait list in the comments below. There's a link there that will say wait list. Add yourself to that wait list. You will find out ASAP what we're getting as soon as you join the wait list. So y'all, thank you for that. Julie, take it away.
Excellent. All right. Everything that we ask is on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being like, oh no, and 10 being, yes, I'm doing a great job at this. So my first question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your fueling program working for you?
I would say I would say I'm doing pretty well. So I'm going to say like a 9. And I say that because I I have a standard fueling protocol already down. So, after the first hour, I know what fuels me well. But that being said, I feel like there's always room for improvement. And I know that I need to be taking in about 40 to 60 grams of carbs. And sometimes that's hard for me. So I could definitely work on that.
Okay, that's great. A 9. Good for you.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how energetic do you feel first thing in the morning when you get up?
Probably a 6 or a 7. And, like most women over 40, I definitely struggle with sleep sometimes. So I definitely feel groggy in the mornings sometimes. And I would say I've tried really hard in this off season or preseason, as I like to call it, working on my sleep. So it's getting better.
That's excellent. With that in mind, that you're making a conscious effort to sleep better, how are you feeling on your rides? How's your energy?
I'd say great. Yeah, I
Okay,
don't feel like I'm flagging it at all. Yeah,
that's
100%.
that's awesome. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's making a difference. So would you say you're an
Oh,
8,
like a
a 9, a 10?
Yeah, it's a 8, 9, or 10.
Okay,
Yeah, for sure. On my
excellent.
rides, my most recent rides, I felt great.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your training program working? Are you working your training program?
Yes. Yeah. So, you guys might not know, I have a coach too, right? I don't coach myself. I feel like a lot of people don't know that coaches have coaches. So I have a
Yeah.
coach. We talked about 2 weeks ago about what does preseason look like, and so yeah, I'm sticking to my training program. I know it works for me so far. So 2 to 3 days of strength training. I'm getting in one longer ride a week, and I have a big goal coming up, which is why we're having this conversation now. I motivating myself by registering or aiming for a gravel event at the end of January. So it'll be down
Cool.
in Southern California. So there's no time to waste, right? Like that's like 10 weeks away. 10
Mm-hmm.
weeks away.
Yeah,
So I don't have, I'm not sitting on the couch. I'm steadily building up endurance, and I'm always focusing on getting those high intense intervals or sprint intervals. Somebody asked earlier what SIT stands for, sprint interval training. So those are always part of my program, even in the preseason.
that's excellent. So I almost feel like I don't even have to ask the next question that we normally ask is, how is your strength and fitness? I mean,
Pretty good.
yeah,
I would say like a 9 because I love strength training, and I know that that is a challenge for most women. I saw a stat the other day that only 10% of women over 60 lift weights. 10%. So 1 in 10 women over 60 lift weights. I would love to see that to be 9 out of 10. And the only other one is because they're physically not able to. So, yeah, lifting weights is the basis of staying strong on the bike. So I would say I really prioritize that over riding right now. And if you remember, like I trained kind of obsessively towards worlds, and that, as you guys probably know, if you've ever trained with us or any of our programs, we do a lot of intervals. And at a certain time, your brain just can't do anymore. Like your nervous system needs a break.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I focus and prioritize on strength training and then ride how it needs to. And if I have a time right now where I'm like, I cannot stomach one more interval training session, then I still go ride, but I make sure that I'm not like my mind needs to stay fresh because there's a long
yes,
season ahead. So
yes.
yeah,
Burnout is real. You have
I
to,
would say my strength is definitely on point, and then my cycling fitness is slowly coming back endurance wise. Yep,
yeah, that's excellent.
I love that.
And I think this is the last question, but it's certainly one of the most important questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your rest and recovery?
Um, I probably I don't know, 6 or 7. I think I could always be better at it's not really the rest that's hard for me to do. I can sit around and do nothing real easy. But that's not always the greatest, right? Like recovery is actually about actively recovering your body so you feel better and able to train next. So there are days where I don't do enough and then I feel like shit the next day. I don't know if you can relate, but so I've really, as part of sleep, I'm really actively looking for more ways to amplify recovery. And the one I'm working on right now is yoga nidra. I'm really obsessed with it. So YouTube has a lot of free yoga nidras. They're anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour long or longer if you want. But it's kind of a yoga of the mind, if you will. So it's
Cool.
not quite meditation. It's not quite yoga, but it's also talked about as non-sleep deep rest. So I've been experimenting with it. I'm obsessed right now. And but there's days where I'm still just not hitting the mark. So but you probably know by now I love in the preseason to try different things to see if they make an impact. Um so that's one thing I'm working on. Yeah,
Very cool.
I love
Well,
it.
when I look at your scores, um, I want to be like you. I want you to be my coach because you know what you're doing. You are doing all of the things that should be a priority in your cycling, in your goals in cycling, and your goals in having energy for everyday living. You've got good recovery, you've got good energy levels, you've got a really strong strength program. You have a very strong training program that you follow. So, I mean, those are the kinds of things that we learn when we do this diagnostic is we can see areas where improvements are needed and we can see areas where people are feeling pretty good and they're doing
Where
what,
to close the gap. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And to your point,
super,
Julie, like when I do this on myself for the preseason, because I want to look at like where can I get a marginal gain, right? And
mm-hmm,
I was like, rest. I'm not resting enough. I don't I wasn't de-stressing enough or activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So that means that I'm leaving something on the table when I'm trying to recover. So if I can find just that little bit thing that's going to make a big difference down the road, I'm going to try it. So I encourage everyone out there to, adopt that experimental like mindset and
Yeah.
see if you can find something that will help.
I love that you mentioned for you as almost a professional level athlete, you are a professional level athlete, that for you, the gains can be small and incremental because you're doing all of the things already. And what's really cool is when we have people that have never really thought about this, or maybe they're doing one aspect, but they haven't even thought about any of the others, is that the light bulb starts to go on in the diagnostic call. And they're like, oh my God, I've never even thought about recovery, or I've never thought about nutrition, and that's where we come in handy because we can really help guide them through the educational process of understanding how important these different aspects are and how to be successful at them. And so
Hell yeah.
the calls are incredibly educational for us as well as
Yep.
the folks we're talking to. It's always great.
Yeah. So if any of you out there listening or watching this later, drop a hashtag team replay, please, below.
Yay,
And then
team
also, if you're
replay.
listening and you're curious at all, like sign up for a call with us. I'll
Yeah.
leave the link below. It's free. It's a diagnostic call.
Yep.
There's no coaching on it, right? Like she didn't coach me, but we talk about you and where you're at and how you want to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'd love to have you on board. And Julie, anything else you want to ask? I think we covered all of our diagnostic questions. Anything else?
We covered all our
Yeah.
diagnostics. I think the one thing I would ask is perhaps, which you already mentioned, would be, what are your cycling goals? Do you have anything in mind, some big hairy goal that you're thinking about doing? And sometimes people might have it kind of in the back of their mind, like, oh, maybe I'll do that. But when you make them say it out loud, they'll be
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, I really want to go do the thing.
Yeah.
And it's
Including
fun
me.
to,
I was terrified to say it like 2
yeah,
years ago. I want to go to Worlds.
yeah,
Yeah, I want
yeah.
to go win the Rainbow Stripes next year. So it's going to be a trip to France
Poor
in the
thing,
fall of 2024. And so
poor
like it's
thing.
easier to say once you've been and seen it and it's a new reality. And I think that's one thing I love about sport is that you can push yourself way out of your comfort zone and you don't like it the whole time. And I'm the same way. I hated it the whole time. I shouldn't say that. I embraced it, but I was recognizing that I was really uncomfortable. But then you've been there, done that, and now it's just part of who you are, right? So you can come up and say, like, I'd like to go to World Masters track championships and go for the win next year. So
That's right.
that is exciting and terrifying all at once, but it really helps you say no to a lot of things that aren't going to get you there and say yes to the things that will get you there. And then along the way, I always like to motivate myself with events. So, like for example, that the gravel event that's new to me in the January, because that'll motivate me to ride when I may be more inclined to just sit at home and drink a glass of wine. So those examples of using what you know will motivate yourself. Yeah.
I'm
For
gonna
some
I'm
of you, it's
gonna
a trip, a
I'm
cycling
gonna
trip. Yeah.
close
What,
with
Julie?
I'm gonna close what I have to say today with something I spoke with a client about yesterday. And the client was kind of rehashing they're a cyclocross racer, and they were rehashing their season and everything that they had learned and how well they're doing and how other athletes are now looking at them differently as, wow, your competition, you're good. And the thing that I always find really cool about that is when you start having that confidence in something like cycling, that confidence will carry throughout other areas in your life.
Yes.
And we don't think about that because we're just focused on the thing, like I want to do the thing. But when you do the thing and you do it well and you feel like you've grown, guess what? You grow. You grow in all other aspects of your life. And it's always fun to talk about that and then see the light bulb go off like, wow, I never thought about that. But it's so true. Like what you're saying about going to Worlds. And now you're like, I'm going to go and I'm going to win. And you
Yep.
have that energy in everything that you do. I mean, I've known you for a while and you've always had that energy and that focus. And
Yeah.
it's just totally cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Very
That
cool.
is absolutely true. And it's one thing, it's what you just described is where I think it's James Clear who wrote Atomic Habits, but that's the habit that you created maybe 20 years ago when I started racing bikes is now
Mm-hmm.
become your identity. And so
Mm.
people
Yes.
ask you, well, how do you keep it, going, or where's your motivation? And at a certain point, it's no longer questioned. It's just who you are, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it becomes part of your identity. But I
Yeah.
want to say it's not your whole identity. We're all whole humans, right? We all have big other lives outside of cycling, but
Yeah.
it does when you do identify with I am now a person that people look at as competition,
Mm-hmm.
that brings a certain level of awareness to what you do and how people look at you and perceive you and how you want to be perceived. And that bleeds through whether you run for city council or government or your business or a promotion or whatever, right? It matters. So that's why I do what I do. I think that what
Mm-hmm.
you do on the bike matters for the rest of your community. So anyway, we're getting a little philosophical here. Sorry, y'all, we're going late, but this is what we do in the preseason. We chat. I want to hear from all y'all in the comments about what was the biggest takeaway here. Do you want to do a diagnostic call with us? And you can hop on at the link below. And then also reiterating, next Monday we'll unveil our Black Friday I want to say like promotion. So we'll have 3 or 4 or 5 things to choose from. We have a new thing we're excited to show you. So all of it will be unveiled on Monday. If you want the wait list, get in ASAP, okay? And I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up there, Julie. Thank you so much for being on today.
And thank you. And I really want to get on a call with you guys. Get with
Yeah.
us. We really want to get to know you on a deeper, more personal level and talk. We'd love to. It's what makes us happy. It's why we're here. So let's do it.
It is why we're here.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
I will see
Thank
you
you.
all in our next meeting. Are we meeting next Wednesday or are we off? Because
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
I'm
I think
gonna
we're
be
off.
I'm gonna be doing
Are you
cooking,
out?
which yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna be
We'll
cooking?
meet you in 2 Wednesdays.
All right, sounds
Uh,
good.
Not really.
Oh,
2 Wednesdays, y'all.
all right, you guys have a wonderful holiday.
Have a great
Bye.
holiday.
Take care, you
Bye.
guys.